A very good evening to you. 'Tis me, Scottie McClue, the first lord of the internet. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our, well, you could look at it, you could say it's our third, it's our fourth, you could say it's our first night of the live phone-in. Wonderful, lovely to have you with us. And we're streaming on Facebook, we're streaming on YouTube, of course, and we're streaming on Twitch. So if you haven't followed me on Twitch, then it's Scottie_McClue. How amazing is that? But a very, very warm welcome to you. Friday night, nothing gets past me, of course. Just coming up to 10:15, 22:14, and that's British summertime. Oi, oi, Scottie. Oi, oi, Jordan. Dinky do. I shall respond so that you know we are live. How amazing is that? D-I-N-K. Yes, that's what we want, isn't it? Right, so there we are. So we've got that. And I'm going to put D-I-N-K-Y. Yes, Dinky. And a hyphen, capital D, double O. Dinky do. Oh, there's two double O's. That's it. So take that off, do that. There we are. And I'm now going to send that to you so you could see me saying dinky doo. How amazing is that? Scottie McClue, just for you, we are live big style. Welcome, 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 I say. This is our phone in, and of course, try out the number. See how you get on with that. Give it a whirl. 0141 628 9795. 0141 628 9795. Any problem with the number, you tell me and we will sort it out for you, because that's what it's all about. We're not on TikTok Live tonight because I think they get a bit frightened by the number. So there you are. Hello, Scottie. Hello, Kareem. Dinky do. Lovely to have you with us, Kareem. Do you want to test out the lines and see if they're all working? Because I know that you like to be on first. And if not, we can change it. That's the beauty of this setup. We can do what we like on here. We can get it sorted out for you. Fantastic stuff, Dinky do. Lovely to have you with us, Kareem, and thank you for joining us. Now, there's somebody calling. You're live on Scottie's phone in. Who's that?
Hi, Scottie, it's Kareem.
Oh, Kareem. Kareem, I love when you're the first call. It makes us sound as if we're back on Nation Radio on a Friday night.
It does. And it is a Friday night as well.
It is a Friday night, and it's just after 10 o'clock. So this would be about right.
Yes.
You know, by the time we've played out the commercials, played the theme tune, had a bit of a chat about the subjects, you know, I think that's going to start bringing people on.
Absolutely, Scottie. And hopefully that will be the case when you start your radio. And my aim is to try and get first on when that happens.
Oh, and listen, I have no doubt you will be, because you're very slick at that.
Thank you.
You're a very clever man, Kareem. I've always said that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, thank you, Scottie.
You know?
Just a quick question.
Yes.
I was reading earlier on, and it was to do with, you know, about opinion polls.
Yes.
And I am still shocked that the Better Together still 3% ahead. So would you agree with me? Now, you always hear the terminology or people saying Scotland has never really voted Conservative. But if we were to play devil's advocate, they really are voting Conservative.
Yes.
They keep voting Better Together.
Yes. If they vote Better Together, they're voting for the Tories. Having said that, Scotland used to have some really very high caliber Conservatives. Very interesting, because you see, Alec Douglas Hume was the Prime Minister, as you'll know, and he was from the Borders, from Coldstream in the Borders. So he was essentially a Scottish gent, a very old Scottish family, the Douglas Humes. And then you had people like George Younger, Youngers of Alloa, the Brewers, out in Alloa, funnily enough, and out in Stirlingshire. And George was Secretary of State at 34. You had Lord Gould. you had Malcolm Rifkind, and all these characters, and they were very fine politicians, you know, and very popular in Scotland. Even when Ted Heath was the Prime Minister, a lot of Scots were conservative and unionist. Now, things have changed big style. I mean, Labour was very, very powerful in Scotland. Now, I don't think they could even, you know, cause the corn to ruffle in a wind.
Absolutely.
You see? And the SNP and Labour thoroughly detested each other. And I saw two reasons for that. One was the founder of the SNP had come directly from the Labour movement.
Right.
You see? So you'd got that, plus the other side of it, they were both chasing the same vote, the working class Scottish vote.
Yes.
You see? And also remember, Westminster had a bit of a hold in Scotland because they ran the mines, they decided on the factories and the shipyards.
Yes.
And the steel industry. So everything was kind of nationalized, plus British Railways, as it was at the time. So, you know, Westminster had a very strong foothold in Scotland. And then the oil revenue started flowing to Westminster when it should have been flowing to Scotland. You know, and our economy has just been damaged and damaged by a series of conservative governments and governments. But that's been going on for 313 years.
Yeah.
You know? So it's very interesting from that point of view. But yes, I think this country doesn't really care for the left wing. You know? And that's what you're up against, whereas Scotland is a socialist country with a small s.
Yep.
You know, that's the thing there. So yes, you're quite right. I mean, we are always voting Conservative, but I can't see the Tories will come back about. I think they need to drop the term unionist. I mean, what do you feel about that?
Well, I'll be honest, Scottie, if there is going to be an indirect too, and Scotland does vote again to be part of the union, I'm stepping back from politics because I just feel that you hear so many people saying, I'm not a Tory, we need to beat austerity, but if you're voting to be part of Better Together, to me, you're voting for the austerity cuts, which, let's be honest, have not worked at all.
No.
Poverty has increased.
Well, that's why you've got your food banks. I've been arguing with a guy today about the Royal Yacht and food banks. And of course, he again doesn't understand that these are totally separate budgets. Whether we have a Royal Yacht or not, they'll still have the food banks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, to me, as I said right there, it's 56 pence out your tax out the whole year, which is less than a bag of crisps.
Absolutely.
Which is nothing at all. And we spoke before regarding this in terms of the amount of money that brought in by tourism, and I think if Scotland does vote yes, the royal family will play a massive key role for tourists to visit.
Oh yes.
And I think that I've said before as well, they can make extra houses of residence. Look at, is it Linlithgow?
Yes, Linlithgow. I would say to Boris Johnson, reparation of damages, get that rebuilt before independence.
Yes, and there's just so much opportunity. And I think we spoke as well, Scottie, before that the ports that used to be, I think if Scotland was independent, to open these ports again, to open a gateway to the rest of the world.
Yes.
Scotland would flourish. But
absolutely.
People just do not believe that, or I think it's a bit too much. I'm all right, Jack, until financially they've hit themselves.
Absolutely. Until it affects them in the pocket, Kareem.
Correct. Yes.
You know, that's it. Once the bottom line starts biting, they then start to understand what it's all about.
Absolutely. And it's not fair. I think it's selfish. It really is. And it's not fair for the children that are going hungry or being affected by this as well.
Well, clearly at the moment, we are not better together. So to have a movement called Better Together is a fail.
Yes. So
something's going to have to be done about that.
Yep. The second question, I don't want to go into too much, but again, as you know, what people are like on Facebook, they're talking about obviously the daily coronavirus. People that are testing positive for it is the highest that it's ever been. But what I'm seeing on social media is a lot of people are actually not caring, and the only time they seem to care is if they catch it or if it affects their family. And again, I find that quite selfish.
Well, again, they're not thinking. You see, I think governments need to take a firm hand, because we saw at Brexit that the people don't actually know what they are doing, and they don't actually know what they're talking about. And that's why the phone-in is so important, because we can hear points of view. And if I think these people are needing a correction, then I can do it.
Absolutely. No, yes, and you've been doing that for many years as well, Scottie.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we shall hopefully do it for a few more.
A good few more, Scottie. Look forward to them all.
Lovely to hear you, Kareem. And as we say in the best of circles, dinky do, sir.
Yes, speak to you soon, Scottie.
All the best. Thanks, Kareem. Sarala. There we are. That's our Kareem. What a great guy. Amazing stuff. Now, you're live at Scotty's phone-in. Who's that?
Hello.
Hello.
SCOTTIE McCLUE.
Yes.
I want to know, do you want to invest in a hall? I'm going to call it Dinky Do.
Dinky Do. I think that's a gorgeous thing. I don't know about investing, but thank you for that. That is absolutely amazing. Now, lots of people talking here. Kevin says, hi, Scottie. What's on the agenda tonight? Says Jordan. Well, we're just talking about, does better together actually mean better together? There we are. Alistair King, good evening, Kareem. How are you, mate? The monarchy is fine, no probs keeping it post-Indy, says Robert. What I might call you about, Scott, is the Queen's consent. We might need to re-evaluate it. Well, I doubt we can do, but I'd be very interested in hearing your point of view on it, Robert, I have to say. Hi, Alistair, says the wonderful Kareem. These guys are talking away to each other. That is amazing. If you've just joined us, a very, very warm welcome. You're watching SCOTTIE McCLUE, the first lot of the internet, hashtag FLOTI. And we are live on the phone-in across YouTube, Facebook and Twitch as we speak, with more to come in the pipeline. We decided not to go live on TikTok tonight because I think it's a bit much for the old TikTokers. But lovely to have you with us, and Dinky Do. We might join them later, who knows? But I think we want to build up this. We're in something like our third night of it. We did a technical rehearsal the first night, so then another technical rehearsal. So maybe we could even say we're in the second night of actually trying out the phone-in. You're live on Scottie. Who's that?
Hello, it's Archie from last night.
Archie from last night. What a lovely place to stay last night.
How are you doing, buddy?
They were great, bud. Yes, absolutely. Very interested. Now, Archie, you're a man of the borders.
Right.
Yes, the soft lowland tongue of the borders. Now, what are you thinking? I mean, what are you thinking about all this better together? Because England must be only within shouting distance of you.
Yes, maybe 15, 20 miles down the road.
Is that right?
I'm not the most political man ever.
No, neither am I.
No, I tend to avoid it when possible.
Right.
I would prefer not to go independent personally.
Yes, right. So you're quite happy with the way things are going, really?
I'm fine with the way things are. Absolutely, Scottie.
Fine. No, that's great, Archie. Listen, I'll not draw you on it. If it's not your thing, you don't need to be drawn on it.
I'm more of a UFO sighting man than politics.
Ah, have you ever seen a UFO?
I like a bit of conspiracies, yeah.
Yes.
What about you?
Have you ever seen one, Archie?
I think I have, out by the Carter Bar one night.
Right, what did it look like? What was that UFO?
Just a wee light in the sky. I just pretend it is. I don't think it actually was.
You don't think you might have seen maybe...
They're somewhere, Scottie. They're out there somewhere.
You don't think you might have seen a satellite, just a bit of junk floating around in space?
Probably, but I think they'll exist over by... I don't know, but over somewhere, aliens will be.
Now, do you think there is another life form that we're not all familiar with?
the only life form.
And do you think that maybe some governments know about this but don't want it out there?
There's far too much of this hidden information. They'll absolutely know things.
Right. Now, why would they want to hide it? Is it not like a major news story if we've discovered some aliens?
I think there's a lot more than just aliens that they hide from us.
Excellent. Well, very interested. You're into your conspiracy theories. Archie, I'm going to press on and see what everybody's got to say about this.
Perfect. Have a good night, buddy.
Bless you and dinky doola. What a top man. There we are. Archie from Jedburgh in the Scottish borders. We love it. Hi, mate. Hi, Alistair King. Lovely to have you with us. Scotty, what's your views on euthanasia? Well, having had to euthanize pets and having had a grandmother who suffered terribly with a terminal illness lasting over 2 years and lost most of her body weight, I think to myself, in euthanasia, the animal is away in something like 15, 20 seconds. And these poor souls, human beings, could suffer dreadful discomfort and pain for years. But it would need to be very carefully managed and regulated. That's what I would say. Scotty, the Pentagon admitted a couple of months ago UFOs and UAPs exist, but they don't know what they are. I think they should have it depending on the situation and the patient. Right, Kareem? Very, very interesting. If somebody wants to make a call on that, if you've just joined us, it's Scottie McClue here. We are, of course, live on the internet, big style, right across YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. If you aren't following Scottie McClue on Facebook, get yourselves on facebook.com/Scottie.McClue.9. Oh, Twitch. Whew. It's warm in here tonight. Twitch, Scottie_McClue. Get yourselves on there, I say. Right, we've got the chat, guys. Get chatting. Do you believe in aliens, Scotty? Well, what I am doing as Dan's is finding out what the people think, and then I shall stick my tuppence worth in there. So do tell us what you think first. I think that's important. Guys, how do we share this? Let me see. How do we actually share this stream as we speak? That would be good. Now, there we go there. I would love to see that. I don't know if I should switch over in case I lose you all. We don't want that. There's too many planets and solar systems out there for us to be the only form of life. Good one, David. Excellent stuff. Evening, Scotty. A wee tenable question for you. How many Scottish TV announcers can you name? 10 required from the beginning of STV in Cook Cadence. So you want 10 announcers. Right. Here we go. Michael O'Halloran, 1. Gordon Roddick, 2. Alec Monteith, 3. Bob Christie, 4. James O'Hara, 5. Jimmy Spanky, 6. Kennedy Thompson, 7. Jim Simon, 8. June Imrie, 9. Colin Lamont, 10. There's 10 Scottish announcers for you right away just for starters. Oh, my goodness me. I was in Glasgow Central today, Scotty, enjoying the mood, the weather, the shame I've gone back to work even with my injuries. I know what you mean, Alistair, but you get strong and well and be very careful what you lift, chum. Be very careful. No pushing motors, anything like that. You can't, because it's so important for you. It's so important for Junior and for the rest of the family. So steady, steady the buffs, I say. There we are. You're live on Scotty. Who's that?
How are we doing, Scotty?
Who have we got here?
Can I tell you a joke?
Is it a first name?
Yes. Can I tell you a joke?
What's your first name?
Pedro.
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 Is it a clean joke?
Yes, it's very clean. No swear words.
Is it appropriate?
Yes, very appropriate.
Go on.
green and goes 500 miles an hour.
I don't know.
Terry Monroe in a blender.
Didn't find that funny at all. So there we are. Where we are. Sorry about that, folks. Shocking stuff. Now then, want to become famous? So there we are. No, we're not. We'll bother about that. So we'll just get rid of that. Hang on. And we'll just block that one. Thank you. And I think we should block the last guy as well. Apologies for that very, very unfunny thing. My opinion, Kareem. So there you are. Yes, Dave. Who have we got here? Users have an option. Oh, yes. You can browse or you can choose to share your video stream. So there we are. Right. Excellent. If everybody watching would care to share, that would be tremendous. Now then, what have we got? Good of you to mention me, says the wonderful Gordon Roddick, one of the announcing greats. Tremendous. Lovely to hear from you, Gordon. So glad you're with us tonight. And again, a very big thank you for your thoughtfulness and your kindness, not just even now, but over many, many years. I was just thinking, Gordon, it must be 35 years since you and I first worked together. Amazing. And here we are working together tonight. We love it. So there we are. I don't understand the joke. Wasn't a joke. Kareem wasn't even remotely funny. Just a dafty trying to be daft. And we've got no time for that level of nonsense on here. If you've just joined us, a very, very warm welcome. You're watching Scottie McClue. We're live on the internet, YouTube, Facebook, and of course, Twitch. Scottie_McClue. If you're a Twitch person, our Twitcher there, get on to Scottie McClue. Dinky do. Kareem has just sent me £1. Kareem, you're a very kind man. I thank you. Dinky do. You're live on Scottie's phone in. Who's that? Hello? Nobody. An alien tried to get through to say, we do exist. There we go. Fantastic. These nutters don't know who they're speaking to. Ridiculous. Indeed, it does. His prank call failed miserably. Very, very miserable failure, Dave. I'm Archie, by the way. I need to change my YouTube name. Yes, you do. We need to hear more from you. You're live on Scottie's phone in. Who's that?
That's me, Scottie.
Who's me?
Alistair.
Alistair. How lovely to hear you.
That was me that tried to phone you there. I hit the wrong button.
All right, that's okay. We don't mind. We thought you were an alien from another planet, but you're only free Fife. Now, I want to know how you are, chum. Guys, to put you in the picture, as far as I understand it, a couple of weeks ago, Alistair had a very, very bad fall and ended up in the hospital with a fractured spine. Is that right?
Aye, it was my own fault, though.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter whose fault it was. The fact is, it shouldn't have happened to you.
Oh, I know, but it did. And
yes.
From there, don't go fishing on the rocks with trainers on.
So did you just come down on a rock and skate?
I had 6 mackerel on at the time and down I went.
No. You need to be very careful. And was the wee one with you?
No, I had my friend with me, but he's disabled, so he couldn't come down and help.
Oh, for goodness sake, Alistair.
Oh,
now, what sort of progress are we making? Because you seem to be making amazing progress.
Oh, I'm back on my feet. As soon as I got back on my feet, I went back to work.
Alistair, that's very fortunate.
Oh, aye.
You know, because, I mean, obviously, you know yourself, you could have severed something, you know?
Oh, I know. I'm stuck with a back brace. I've got a fractured coccyx at the base of my spine.
Right, where your tail used to be when we were all monkeys.
Aye, till somebody cut it off.
Aye. Now, my father used to tell me that, but anyway. Now, so there you go. Imagine breaking your spine. Hang on, there's a guy here. Hold on, Alistair. There's a guy here thinks this is funny, so I'm just going to bin him off. Right?
There's always one.
Yes. There we are. He's gone. So there we are. I'm not having that. What I was thinking, Alistair, no pushing motors at all. Even if somebody says, could you help? Give us a push. You go, no, I can't.
No, all the cars I get are driving.
Aye, absolutely. Wonderful.
Aye.
Maybe someday you'll still help me to start one.
Oh, aye, we'll get
Wonderful, but you need to be strong and well.
Oh no, there's always something gets in the way.
And remember, you're living a fright, Alistair, as well.
Oh, aye.
You
I'll
know?
not be doing that again in a hurry.
No, no. And you've just got to be careful. You see, I think when you work as hard as you, leisure time is very precious. So you might just cut a wee corner and say, you know, I'll be fine in my trainers sort of thing, you know.
You didn't get a break very often in the job, Addy.
Absolutely, absolutely. But please try and not work too hard. And as I say, no heavy lifting. Even, are you able to pull the big straps?
They're pretty easy anyway.
Are they all right? Is that the ones you kind of ratchet them up?
Aye.
Aye, love it.
Aye, they're no bad.
Love it, Alistair. That's great. Well, it's a joy to hear from you. And everybody on here, apart from the odd half-wit, is sending you love and strength.
Oh, aye, thanks.
Hey, and dinky do.
Aye, thank you too. It was nice to talk to you.
Lovely talking to you, Ken.
Right. I'll see you again soon.
Dinky do, la.
Thank you too. Bye.
What a top man. That's Alistair. Alistair is an incredible mechanic. He's right into cars, and with a wee cars program, which we might not be doing now because there's so much happening on the internet here. Do come and join us. Spread the word. If you're watching right now, share everything. Say, I'm watching Scottie McClue, either on Twitch, YouTube, or, of course, the wonderful Facebook. Get yourselves on there. What time did you start, Scottie, says Professor Numpty Heat? 14 minutes past 10, Numpty Heat. So a wee bit early tonight. 40 minutes past 10. Scottie, there's some really weird people on social media. There are, Kareem. Yes, I mean, these kind of half-witted idiots that don't understand about other human beings. Are the rules about a second ring in one evening? No, no, not at all, Archie. I've just arrived. I'll need to watch it later from the start. You will, Numpty, but remember, you're a busy man. You are an executive. You obviously have made some big money, and you bailed Scottie McClue out the other night with a very, very heavy, serious donation on GoFundMe.com. Yes, indeed, /Scottie-McClue. You're live on Scottie's Phone In. Who's that?
Hello, Scottie. It's me again.
Oh, hello, me again. Yes, we haven't actually made up the rules yet, Archie, but it's always good to hear from you.
Oh, excellent. Well, I was going to ask this last ring, but I forgot to get around to it. Have you ever had a paranormal experience or an alien experience?
Yes. Yes, I certainly have. And I'm not a doubting Thomas, but a little bit skeptical of it all.
Right.
And a little bit skeptical of it all until I found one night I was working in Yorkshire in my house, and it was a modern house. And my attention was drawn to the center of the room. And I looked over and everything went very cold. This is absolutely 100% gospel truth. And I looked at the center of the room and I said, "Who are you and what can I do for you?" And it immediately relaxed. Now, here's another bit. I'm not finished. In that same room, one night I was playing one of my favorite Kenneth McKellar CDs.
Right.
And he was singing sacred songs, hymns, and he was singing, and he sings it very beautifully, recorded in Paisley Abbey with George McPhee, the organist, at the organ. They stopped the traffic to record it, 7 o'clock in the morning. And Kenneth said to George, "You've got an hour," meaning that's when he would be what we call in the singing trade sung out, right? So Kenneth was singing, "Do no sinful action, speak no angry word, ye belong to Jesus, children of the Lord," right? And I got this vice-like grip round the back of my neck, vice-like. Get that off. So whether there was guilt about, do no sinful action, speak no angry word, but it was get that off. I put it off. I have played the CD in my present house, not a problem. So Something was then one morning. I'm not really given to tears. A couple of things might move me, but I woke up in floods of tears in that room.
Oh.
So there was something not right. Now, I don't think it was the house. It might have been the area. It might have been the ground.
Stuff like that, it just makes me believe even more in...
You know, and that's 100% gospel truth. Three things: the presence in the room, the vice-like grip round the neck, and the tears on waking up.
No, like I said, things like that make me believe in the spiritual, paranormal, unknown even more.
Well, I absolutely would swear to God that that happened.
No, completely believe you.
You know, and I don't tell lies.
Are you familiar with the American broadcaster Art Bell?
Yes.
He had a show about paranormal.
Yeah.
Dedicated to that, called Coast to Coast. And there was a man that told a story about a hole in his garden, and the story branched off, and whether it's real or not, I don't know, but it got very interesting. And that was, when I heard that story, that made me think, actually, you know, until then I was skeptical, and then I started to research the unknown as a whole. I started to believe in even more, and by now I completely would say I'm not skeptical at all. Whereas before I'd heard that program, I was just like any other bloke. I didn't really think much of it. But now, like, I completely believe in spirits, alien, all that.
Well, I mean, I think when we die, when our bodies wear out, we live on. Because all that knowledge and experience, I was just thinking this today, all these things I've learned, all these people I've talked to, hundreds of thousands of people over the years, you know, all that must be for something. I don't want my knowledge to die when I do. I want it to live on across the internet. I want people to be doing phone-ins, to be talking, to, you know, anything at all.
Yeah, legendary man, Scottie. And I'm really glad this internet thing is working as well as it is.
Well, we're what? Let's just say this is our second night, because the first two nights were really technical rehearsals. So let's say this is our second phone-in. Now, I noticed a big change in subscribers today to the YouTube channel, because up until now, Scottie McClue's YouTube channel has been the world's best kept secret. There's 1,600 videos on there. And today I noticed there was a bit of a scramble for people subscribing and tapping the bell for their notifications. Now, that's after 2 nights or even 1 night.
I know, I can't wait to see what the future holds.
You know, and I think this will go very, very big. And I think that telephone number will be one of the best known numbers in the world.
I think it'll be one of the busiest numbers, and that's a good thing.
Because I really believe people need to be talking.
Absolutely. And it's good, you know, admittedly, I think we can all agree, compared to 15, 20 years ago, radio isn't used as much, and I'm so glad that your call-ins are coming to the internet now. Yeah, absolutely. And what I was going to say to you, surely there must be ghostly presences in a town like Jedburgh. Oh, the Castle Jail. I've never heard of the Castle Jail. Yes. Oh yeah. There was a team went there for a film, a TV show, and they had to turn back. Oh, Jedburgh's one. Oh yeah. And I would think all the border towns, and I would think, because I mean, you know, right into the country there, and I would also think places like the Abbey. Oh yeah, and same with, you know, Melrose Abbey with the Heartbound, all the abbeys, I'm sure. Yes, absolutely. Fantastic, because I'll tell you something, I believe in astrology, and I believe in the planets. I believe in the power of the moon and the sun, and yes, no, I would look into all of that. Stonehenge, the ancients, the Druids, the whole thing. There's so much out there. Yeah.
You know, and I would think, I remember a lady that ran a village pub in an old Scottish village and said at a full moon, there were some very strange people came into the pub that you didn't see at any other time in the month.
Oh, okay.
What about that? Archie, I'm going to dash. There's so many people trying to get through. Dinky Doola.
I'll speak to you tomorrow night. Have a great night, buddy.
You too, bud. Ta-ra-la. There we are, Archie, from the Borders Hounds. Comments. Now, thank you, everyone. I appreciate the concerns, says Alistair. I've just arrived. I need to watch this, says Numpty. Unfortunately, Scotty's social media is full of numpties that if their brains were made of chocolate, they couldn't fill a Smartie. We love it, David. That cold feeling, says Mega Chelsea, that cold feeling is a classic sign of a spiritual presence. Scotty, I've had that many times during paranormal experiences. It's an icy coldness like nothing else you will experience. Mega Chelsea, 100% correct. To the telephones, folks, as soon as you can. 01416289795. Scottie McClue is here for you, saying dinky doo. You're live on Scotty's phone in. Who's that?
How are we doing?
How are we doing? Who's that?
It's Pedro again.
Pedro, yes. Pedro.
The squeeze box, please.
The squeeze box. We'll have a look at it, Pedro. We weren't too chuffed with the joke, though. I can tell you that. So there we are. Fantastic stuff. Well done, says Jerry Nichol. Yes. Tony Curry, Nicky Doherty, Steve Hamilton, Dave Marshall, Pauline Muirhead, Bill Tennant, Mr. STV, Paul Coyer. You beat me. Not at all, Jerry. He only wanted 10. I could have probably given him 30 right off the top of my head. Great conversation. Glad you're a believer too, mate. Absolutely. Some people shut down immediately when spirituals are mentioned. No, I'm not into turning this into some sort of spiritual experience. Well, maybe it's a spiritual experience anyway, having Scottie McClue live on the internet. But I don't think we should refrain from talking about a particular subject when it's of interest to a lot of people. But there we go. But we'll vary the phone in. Scottie, what former version of God do you believe in? I believe in a superior being to mankind. I would be very worried if I thought that Boris Johnson or even Nicola Sturgeon or Tony Blair or Edward Heath or whatever was actually the top person in the world. You see what I mean? So I believe in a superior being to mankind. And I believe that that being is good. And I believe that good will always triumph over evil. So there we are. Fantastic. So that's what it's all about. I didn't mean it in that way. I mean more the unknown and the paranormal. Has Mrs. McClue made me a tray of tablet yet, Scottie? Alistair, you can have as much tablet as you like if that old girl can fire up. Oh, Alistair, open the window. Fantastic. So there we go. I don't mean Mrs. McClue. I mean the old motor. Right. To your telephones as quickly as possible. And can you all get sharing? If you're able to share more than me, so please share, and let us know what is happening. There we go. We love it. Now, also, I can take your calls and your comments. You're live on Scotty's phone in. Who's that?
Scottie, it's David Brave.
Lovely to hear from you. How are you?
I am top of the world. Lovely to hear from you, mate. I want to talk about I want to carry on the conversation about the popular esoteric subject of the UFOs. Is that all right?
Yes, well, of course it is, actually. We don't want to become like the UFO channel, but it's always very interesting because, really, to be honest, and I've been a skeptic myself. I had a boy on one night on the phone in. He was a Scotsman. He'd had a light refreshment, and he was trying to convince me that the UFO had flown over. Now, where was it? I'm trying to think. Somewhere like Kilbirnie. And I said, what was it like? and he said it was a blue light on the Kilbirnie Road. And I said to him, I think that would be the polis.
Yeah, it could be many things. I think 99% of them are explained by stars, satellites, all kinds of things, lighthouses. But yeah, I had experience once. I'll come to it in a minute. But basically, if these aliens and UFOs are real, in my opinion, in fact, they're probably us from the future, because it makes sense, because they're probably observing us for, I don't know, whatever reasons. I don't really know what their reasons are, but for reasons that we couldn't even probably comprehend. But disaster films show that, aliens are a threat, but I think they're not really. I don't think they're hostile. If they were hostile, and people say they've been around for tens of thousands of years, well, obviously they are, because they're more advanced than us. Why don't they show their hostility? They're not. So,
well, let's take one thing at a time there, right? And break this down so that people listening think, well, I don't believe that, but I might believe that, etc., etc. So if we said that we've been around for thousands of years, yes, or 2,000 years if you're a creationist, or, several thousand years if you're a creationist, depending if you're Old Testament or New Testament.
Exactly.
Now,
let's say 7,000 years.
Let's say we've been around for 7,000 years. What makes us think that we're the only life form? Because before us, you had the dinosaurs and the woolly mammoth and all of these, the pterodactyl, the lot.
That's it.
So we've had all these life forms about now. One of the problems that mankind has had is that they're essentially tribal. Yes, the children of Israel, the Israelites. Yes, a woman of Samaria, the Sumerians, the Samaritans. Yes. So you go back and you've got all these tribes. Then the tribes and the peoples of the desert of the East, so much the tribes of Australia and New Zealand. Now, when you're tribal, I think there's a case that you treat everyone else who's not of your tribe as your enemy.
Right, yeah.
You see?
Where does that come from, Scottie, I wonder?
Well, let's look at King St. George, who's made up all the other patron saints. St. Patrick with his snakes, St. Andrew, the patron saint of Scotland, St. David of Wales. Yes, they were all real people. So poor old England had to make up St. George. Now, St. George had to slay the dragon. Why didn't he pat the dragon until the fire went down to just a wee puff of smoke?
Very true, Scottie.
And the dragon knelt down, and they said, oh, yes, everybody knew St. George with his pet dragon.
Yeah, we know the story. Yeah, it's a good story. But another thing is, Scottie, I think, just to, come back onto the...
Well, just to finish that, sorry to interrupt, but just to finish that, can you then imagine if instead of going to war with another tribe, you love them, you bring them on board? You say, we're just going round to hug the Halawis,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you talking about like primitive tribes? Because there's still like primitive tribes out there, isn't
yes.
there? Like all around the world, which is...
Well, we're now getting to the stage of when you look at some of us in the West, you wonder who is the primitive race.
Mm-hmm. That's a very good point. We may have the technology, but other races in the world which don't have the technologies and don't have like a God who doesn't even know anything about the Bible.
And we don't know what other technologies are out there. We don't know who runs the airwaves. We know it's not us, but we don't know who runs them.
That could be.
You see, it could be a friendly people have said, we will let the humans use the airwaves because we love Scottie McClue's phone in.
That's it, Scottie. Honestly, keep it going, Scottie. It's been great talking to you. Nice one.
Always lovely talking to you, and we'll explore more as time goes on.
We shall. Nice one. Dinky do, Scotty.
Dinky do, la. Lovely talking to you. There we go. Guys, if you want to come on and discuss, it's very interesting. The universe is teeming with life. I believe God is a form of energy, not a being to talk to. Good one, Kareem. Do you believe in a guardian angel watching out for you? Well, Jerry, in my life so far, I've only met one bad man. Now, that's pretty good. So somebody somewhere has got my back. Yeah, they maybe had a day off when I met the bad man. Anyway, that's that. And just somebody I trusted when I should never have. Anyway, not to worry about that. Lovely to hear from you, Jerry. Feel free to call us and discuss all these things. We're talking about so much tonight and so little time to do it in. I heard tonight that the Taliban are blocking a gentleman who is bringing animals out of Afghanistan to save them. That sounds pretty bad news, doesn't it? There's Anthony has joined us. Good evening, Anthony. Do you know, don't panic, but I was thinking about you the other day, thinking I hadn't heard from you for a while, and I knew you were poorly because Mrs. Mac let us know. So we send you love and blessings. Dinky do. Welcome, I'm going to say. I'll put welcome here. Welcome all. There you go. Welcome all. That should be coming up. Right. I've just missed that call there. If you want to give us another call, we'll get that. I was busy typing at the time. Dinky Doo says, Eddie. Eddie, lovely to have you with us. David's just joined us. My mother has tested positive for COVID today. She's a lot of underlying health issues. Can you please keep her in your prayers? We can, David. We will do our best. Can we all please pray for David's mum, guys? Yes, she's tested positive for COVID. Although, David, with the vaccine and everything, it's not the end of the world as far as we know it, hopefully. David hopes she's well and stays strong during this dark time. Penn Farthing is the man coming out of Kabul with the animals. Last I heard, he was being supported through airport security. Hope he gets home. Mega Chelsea, that is wonderful news. Thank you for that. You are correct. Thanks, Scotty. Feeling much better. And great to hear you. Good one, Tony. We're live. If you all want to follow me on YouTube, subscribe. If you want to follow me on Facebook, because I think we've probably reached our limit for friends. And also, if you want to follow us on Twitch, Scottie_McClue. Everybody keeps sharing and sharing to let people know we're here. Much appreciated, Kareem. Thank you very much for that. And Dinky, I can't believe I've been up for 48 minutes. Oh my goodness, where does the time go? Guys, can all of you make sure you subscribe and tap the bell on YouTube? I noticed today there was a massive upsurge because up until now, Scottie McClue's YouTube channel has been the world's best kept secret for subscribers. But do get on there because I can promise you one thing, this phone-in will be massive. Nobody else is doing it. Nobody else can do it. Even when we're doing the big phone-ins on radio, and I may be going back on the radio sooner rather than later, we're doing the big phone-ins. There was only about half a dozen of us on the planet who did it properly. So there we go. Now then, you need to get the lovable lassie of retirement, Scotty. You're a terrible receptionist. I'm a brilliant receptionist. Was that you? Well, why don't you ring again, numpty hood, and stop cheeking up? Scotty, did you see the news? What was getting said about Trump and Biden? I haven't seen it yet. Scotty, will you be live this weekend? I think we should, Kareem. Just keep it going for now till we see what we're dealing with here. This is a brand new creature, and it's very, very exciting. And it's on the internet, of course. So, it's bang up to date, and it's COVID-proof. So you can watch Scottie McClue, and you will be safe in your house. Fantastic. Do join us. A very, very warm welcome. Cars tomorrow, Scotty. Alistair, I think we might leave the cars in favour of the phone-in. What do you think? We missed you because you were hors de combat, you see, and we missed you on cars. So there we go. Scottie, we need you back on the radio. Radio for an Independent Scotland. You could be the commissioner for Indie Scotland TV. Do you know Robert Scrimger? There was serious talk in 2014 of Scottie McClue being appointed the broadcasting czar for Scotland. There you have it. So you're not too far off the mark there. Yes, indeedy. And that would have been me running television and radio in Scotland. That would be interesting, wouldn't it, for you all? Fantastic. We'll see who this is. You're live on Scottie's phone in. Who's that?
How we doing, Scottie?
Who's that, sir?
Donald.
Donald. How are we getting on?
I just want to know, an independent Scotland,
Aha.
do you think we'll win the World Cup?
Well, if I told you that now, then the TV companies would be very cross with me. I can't give you the score for a game coming up, even although I might know it.
What do you think the score would be on Sunday then?
Oh, I can't tell you that either. That's classified. There we go. And I'm not giving out the lottery numbers either. Do you think people are too hard on Biden? I think he showed real emotion. He lost a son who served. Yes, he did. But we are talking the President of the United States here, Tony. Yes. Said a prayer for your mum, David. I really hope and trust she'll recover, says William. Thank you very much, William. Very much appreciated. Scottie McClue, just for you, dinky-doo. Get to the telephones. The number is on the bottom there. 0141 628 9795. Get that number down. Fast becoming the best known telephone number on the internet. 0141 628 9795. A Glasgow number. Who have we got here? 100% phone in tomorrow, please, Scottie. It's gathering great momentum. It seems to be very popular, David. You're live on Scottie's phone in. Who's that?
Professor Numpty, Scottie.
Numpty Head, what on earth were you playing at? Where were you? I was trying to answer your call.
That wasn't me, Scottie. That wasn't me trying to phone you.
So have you not phoned at all tonight?
No, this is my first time.
Right, okay, well, let's have it. You'd better spill then, boyo. Why do you think I'm a bad receptionist?
Because you can't type fast enough.
All right. Well, can I tell you, the lovable lassie was one of the top typists in Scotland.
Well, Scottie, the lovable lassie could have had your messages typed and the phone call answered at the same time.
Ken Numpty Head. So what is your point, caller?
Oh, well, listen, I've got a couple of points to make, Scottie.
Aye, but what is your point about me in reception? It's no great secret that I'm not as fast a typist as the lovable lassie.
Well, why do you bother typing if you can't do it?
Well, I mean, why do you bother getting up in the morning if you can't be bothered?
Because my alarm clock's set for 12 in the afternoon.
Ken, so there you are. So that's why you're up. And but you don't go to bed till about 4.
That's right, Scottie.
So we'll let you off. And you were immensely generous to this phone-in.
Yes, we know that. Well, listen.
Immensely. No, I'm talking immensely.
I need to tell you something.
Go on then. Spill.
You were talking to Archie and Jedburgh, Scottie.
Ken.
You mentioned the Jedburgh jail.
Yes, he did.
Well, I've been in the Jedburgh jail, Scottie.
For a night.
I'm through the night. It was one of these ghost hunts.
Oh, it was a ghost hunt. I see. I wondered if they'd put you in the slammer for having too much Brune ale.
Well, I was in my cell.
You were in your cell. I see what you just did there.
Absolutely, Scottie. And when it got cold, they put in another bar.
They put in another bar when it got cold and ruined the ghosts.
Absolutely. Can I tell you something, Scottie?
There's quite a lot of tours, Numpty Head. Well, you'll know all about them in Edinburgh, up the closes.
I ken what you're talking about, aye.
Ken, you know, the ghost tours, frightening the life out of folk.
Aye, doing the wee tunnels, Mary King's Close,
Mary King's, I was just going to say, Mary King's close. And of course, as you remember, I was very friendly with Adam Lyle deceased.
You were friendly with me?
Adam Lyle deceased, look it up.
And when did he pass away, Scotty? How many
Oh.
years ago?
Hundreds of years. That you made me swallow my water the wrong way.
I hope that's holy water.
Ah, it's water. Oh dear.
Council water.
Council juice. Right, so Spill, so tell me more.
All right. You
Ken.
said the other night there that you've been watching the news channels for the last 50 years.
Ken.
And all the news channels, you've watched a lot. So, does that mean for the last 50 years your head's been getting fully mints, propaganda mints?
Well, I mean, I have, as you know, a very high IQ.
Aye.
And nothing to do, not my, that's just the way it is. That's life. I have a high IQ.
See, what worries me is you've been following your heads with mints.
So I'm able to differentiate, and I'm able to lift the truth from news channels and then tell it to you guys.
Well, if the news channels are not telling you the truth, why do you watch them?
Well, no, I watch them. I watch several sources. You see, a good journalist will get his information from several sources, right?
You've been doing it for the last 50 years.
So if, for instance, you think I need a story about what's going on at high level in the army, you don't just get some drunken squaddy to tell you what's going on.
Aye.
Ken.
Anyway, I've got one last thing to say.
So what you would do is you would talk to the generals and the drunken squaddy.
Absolutely.
Now you can.
One thing before I go, Scotty, is
right.
An interesting debate. Now, I remember a while back you said on the wireless about these people that cheek up to the police.
Yes.
With their mobile phones.
Yes, filming the police and cheeking up to them.
Now, the people that's doing the cheeking up, they seem to know the right, Scotty, as in like what they can do in public.
Well, you see, the problem is in days gone by, particularly in Edinburgh and Glasgow, they just have birched them, that have taken them up a close and given them a thrashing.
Aye, but they didn't have mobile phones back then.
No, and they weren't getting filmed and all that stuff. And you wouldn't have dreamt of them going, I want your number.
I'm sure my numbers come up on your telephone, Scott.
They would have said, Sonny, if you don't stop cheeking up, you'll be getting a size 9.
Aye, but they're getting arrested and put in the cells for 6 hours just for filming in public, Scotty.
Well, I know that's an interesting one. We need to work out what the actual thing is with the law and make it nice and clear.
Well, somebody needs to have a word with the policeman's bosses.
Yes. Well, maybe we can have a chat on here. Maybe some of the policemen will phone us and they can just use a first name. Doesn't even have to be the rain. And we can get some info on it.
Well, they can remain anonymous and just give their caller number instead.
Aye, that's what it's all about. Right, Numpty, I'm going to press on because we're mobbed out the door. We're stowed out and stop it through.
Stop it.
And that's your fault for being so generous.
Well, let's just say I got my clue on the cheek.
Lots of love to you, my boy. Think you do. Think you do. What a top man. My goodness me. Right, Scotty, I think you might need a wee cup of tea. I think I might. Aaron says, good evening. Scotty, good evening, everybody. That sounds lovely, Kareem. Milk, no sugar for me, says David. What's your views on homosexuality having children? Says PS5. Let's find out what's going on here. You're live at Scotty's phone in. Who's that?
It's Jerry.
Jerry, how lovely to hear from you. How's the show going tonight, Jerry?
Well, everything is going really well. You're on Vision, brilliant, and coming across nice and loud.
Nice and loud. And were you able to check the other streams as well?
Well, because I've been that busy, I haven't. But the thing is,
you think we'd have heard by now?
Sorry?
You think we'd have heard by now?
Aye. Going back, I was going to ask a question there.
Aye, go on, sorry.
Oh, there's loads of questions. But are you ever down in the dumps?
Me?
Yeah.
Only once, when the very bad man took the money off me. And I don't want to bore everybody with that, but that's the only time I would say I've ever been down the dumps. I personally don't have a right to be down in the dumps because there's so many people worse off than me. You know, so I don't think, I mean, I know everybody has a right to be fed up, but I personally don't think I have that right. And I think that I have been put on the earth to talk to others.
Good.
And it's as simple as that. And there's nothing swank or trumpet blowing about that. I just think that's my raison d'etre.
Right. Well, you're obviously an interesting guy. You're always a good answer. Next question is, did you ever think of being the minister or being involved in the church?
A church minister? Do you know, you'll not believe this, but at the age of 19, I had an interview with the principal of New College in Edinburgh to look at doing a Bachelor of Divinity degree.
Yeah.
And about a year ago, a guy said to me, I do wish you'd consider becoming a minister of the kirk.
How long ago was this?
About a year ago.
Really?
Yes.
Aye. So you come across, because the voice and the way you portray yourself, you could, everybody would be in that hall, church, whatever, and just be focused on you. That'd be, you stand out.
Well, it's very interesting because when I was brought up, I met a lot of ministers, and a lot of them were outstanding preachers. I could name the lot of them right across Scotland, and still know them all. Yes, and a lot of the moderators were friends as well, and I can. I have done services. I have spoken at services from the pulpit.
Well, that does come across. So I've heard you mention in the past being involved in the church.
I'm thinking about people like Jimmy Curry was a personal friend.
Yeah, he was on late call. Was that right?
Yes, he did. Jimmy was in everything. He was a great guy. He was his family were farmers in Arran at Drumadoon Farm, and Jimmy was the minister of St James's Pollock for years, and he was also the chaplain to Crookston Castle School. And a guy phoned me one day on the L107 Lanarkshire phone-in and said that he was at school when Mr. Curry was the chaplain. He said if Mr. Curry was speaking at assembly, you couldn't get a seat in the hall.
Well, that's probably what would happen.
And I would only want to be a minister or a priest or whatever if I knew that outside my church on a Sunday morning, you couldn't get parked and you could barely get a seat.
Did you ever come across the moderator that lived in Castlemilk? Do you remember that guy?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I just can't remember his name. But
I mean, I can go right back to people like Dr. Archie Craig, Leonard Small, you know.
Aye.
David Tennant's father was the moderator.
That's the one I was going to mention there.
He was a great guy. He was Sandy MacDonald.
That's right. He's passed away now.
Has he?
Aye, he passed away a number of years ago.
Sandy, he was a lovely, lovely man. He was around. He did a late call when Diana died. Right. And he said that what he was concerned about was two little boys that had lost their mum. And that was something, that kind of message touches everyone.
Aye. And also, you did a bit of amateur dramatics, didn't you?
Yes.
Aye.
And professional dramatics.
Oh, was that?
Yes, I attended the Royal Scottish Academy of Music and Drama.
Oh, that comes across really bold, doesn't it?
My Shakespeare's still quite good, apparently.
Aye, right. So you've done the dramatics and the at the pulp. Obviously, what was that else? Factor. No. You're always upbeat. That's a good thing about it. It's a good program tonight.
It's an excellent program tonight, Jenny, and it's lovely to have you on. And as I say, this is effectively night 2.
Oh, that's what I say. I've listened back to my conversation from the other night. It sounded quite good.
Do you know that the lovely Archies just sent me £3.50?
Oh, is it £3? Oh God!
£3.50. No, nobody is ever obliged to get their wallet out for Scottie McClue, because I've always taken applause or derision on my merits, and that is the way to keep a high quality phone-in going. To say, listen, Scottie, if you're no good, they'll no listen.
Brilliant. And I heard you saying to Ken, is it Numpty Head?
Yes, Professor Numpty Head. Ken.
Where's he from?
Ken, he's from Edinburgh, like Ken.
Oh, right.
And I'll tell you what he did the other night. He really opened his wallet, and I thought, for goodness sake. Oh! And it's, I mean, these things are very touching.
Aye, but especially coming from Edinburgh, you know?
From Edinburgh, Ken. Do you remember we used to say, I've done it myself in a speech, would say, aye, where would we be without humour, folks? Edinburgh.
Even further afield, away up the north of Scotland.
Listen, you take great care of yourself, Jenny, and we'll catch up soon.
Well done.
And you, sir, good night. God bless you. Right, to the telephones, folks, as quickly as possible. Lots of words. Scottie, will you be doing regular 10 p.m. phone-ins? I think we shouldn't up to heat. Are we 9 or 10? When's the best time for the phone-in? We need to work that out. Well said, Kareem. You become the people who you surround yourself with. It's so important to surround yourself with positive people. I agree. Scottie, you have a real positive vibe around you. David Taylor, you are very kind. I thank you. That's absolutely true, Scottie. Legally, says Alistair King, he's a bit of a top man. Legally, you can film anyone as long as you inform them they're on camera and they are consenting adults. Good one, Alistair. Dinky do, Scottie. Robster, lovely to have you with us. It's ready to go. So there we are. Fantastic. What have we got here? You hit the nail on the head, Kareem. Absolutely. Everybody agreeing. Are you a fan of Rabbi buns, Scottie? I am. I used to do a lot of bun suppers. And the thing is, of course, COVID put paid to that. There we are. Yes, 10 p.m.'s perfect, says David. Dinky do, Scottie. Guys, 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock for the future phone-ins. What do we decide? You know, I mean, I'm usually up pretty sharp in the morning, but I'm happy to serve the nation. Several nations, I would say. Dinky do. But I need people to start seriously subscribing to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitch, Scottie_McClue on Twitch. TikTok at Scottie McClue. Twitter at Scottie McClue. There we are. The phone number for tonight for the YouTube phone-in. There we are. Scottie McClue's YouTube phone-in. Call Scottie now. 0141 628 9795. Have we got enough light? It looks a wee bit ghostly here tonight. There we are. Fantastic. But if we've got enough light, that's fine. It has to be 10 o'clock sharp. Well, you know, Numpty Head. We're always 10 o'clock sharp on the old phone-ins. 10 o'clock sharp and 10 o'clock sharp on a Sunday morning on 4th 2. Remember that one. Absolutely excellent. I'll have to give you a ring about some time. I addressed a few haggis at one point. Fair for your honest sonsy face. Great chieftain of the puddin race. Aboon them all ye tak your place. Warm, oaf. Fantastic. So there we are. All that kind of stuff. Tripe and fair and I can't mind it now. They are off the top of my head. Address to the haggis. I believe there's one on YouTube. There we are. Both work. Fantastic. 10 p.m. for me, says Jerry. 10 o'clock shot. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, says Kareem. Right, Kareem, dinky do for 10 o'clock. That's when it's going to be. But you guys are up early in the morning. Will you still be around at 10 o'clock at night? Because if we do from 10, we'll need to be still on at 11. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. Now, I'm just looking at the time here. We've been up for an hour and 10 minutes. Do you want to go on a little bit more? So much to talk about, so little time to do it in. If you've just joined us, you're watching Scottie McClue. We are, of course, live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Lovely to have all the Facebookers there. And get following and get sharing, guys. A lot of the success is up to you. I can only do my bit by turning up and chatting. Archie, thank you for that kind gift of £3.50. Scott, have you ever been to Inverary jail? It has a real spiritual feeling about it. I haven't gone into the jail. I know Inverary very well because it's on the road to Ardrishig and Tarbert. Tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10 about Scottie McClue live just for you, dinky do. I'm sure Scottie's been in many jails, but he's no saying, numpty heed, you mustn't judge everyone by yourself. Yes, keep it going, Scottie. Absolutely. We'll just press on with it. No problem at all. And a very, very warm welcome. Trump or Biden, guys, we don't need to go too deeply into it. But the mainstream media has failed the people. And obviously, Trump was the subject of a lot of serious propaganda about the mainstream media, the attacking him and what have you. Was that the right thing to do? So Trump or Biden, I say. If you've just joined us, a very warm welcome. Get on to the telephones 0141 628 9795 and let's talk. Dinky Doo Scotty says, J-Dog Gaming. J-Dog Top Man, how are you tonight? Have you checked the streams for me? Have you done your Yeoman of the Guard and seen that it's coming in live? Do some sharing if you've got a Twitch account, please. Scott, have you ever been to Roslyn Chapel? Quite a strange, eerie place. Well, Mega Chelsea, it's very eerie. But can I tell you that in Roslyn Chapel, no matter how hard you look, there is no Christian imagery. Am I correct? Tell 10 to tell 10. I'd say that an impeachment needs to be carried out. I'd like someone younger than Biden and Trump. Well, do you know, the only thing that held up me from being president of the United States, the next POTUS, hashtag POTUS, I'm hashtag FLOTI, First Lord of the Internet. The only thing that's held me up is I'm not a citizen of America. My fellow Americans, Biden's hurt with the attack on his people, but still prefer this guy to Trump, says Jerry. Neither. Not good enough for America, says Robstar. Right, so what about Scottie McClue for POTUS? Get started on that one. And Green Men. Ah, yes. Edinburgh Castle and Dunfermline Abbey are fantastic spiritual places. The king sits in Dunfermline Toon. And Alistair, what does the king do? Or sorry, let's put it in five chat. What does the king do when he's sitting in Dunfermline Toon? Ken, there we go. Because he kens a boy. Who kens a boy? Who kens me? Ken. So there we are, fantastic. Edinburgh Castle is a wonderful place. It is, David. It used to be a royal residence. And I had some numpty arguing with me that it was a royal residence. It might not be at the moment, but it's got a guard, and it was very much the royal residence. In Scotland, there's still a royal palace within Edinburgh Castle. All okay here on Twitch. J-Dog, that's fantastic. Have we got any followers on Twitch yet? Are people beginning to wiki and get on to the phone in? Fantastic. So there we are. He drinks his blood red wine. And Alistair says he drives a Volvo. I hope he doesn't drive the Volvo after the wine, Ken, or he'll get done. He'll hate to blow, and that'll be the end of that. And he'll maybe go out to Fife for some time, unless he changes it in for Keith, then, Ken. and gets himself into Edinburgh, Ken, into Waverley. That's what it's about. Join us as soon as you can, guys. You're watching Scottie McClue. You're also listening to Scottie McClue with Scottie McClue's Phone In, live on the internet across YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10. Can everybody do a bit of sharing right now? Because people need to know we're here. The only thing that's holding us up right now is getting it out there. Fantastic. So there we go. Now, Holyrood Palace has strange-looking gargoyle statues on the horse wind. Ken, Holyrood, fantastic. I like Holyrood. You know, I mean, I was visiting Holyrood and I was in the Great Hall and there was a plaque, raised plaque in the middle of the flare and an old blood stain. And I said to the guy on duty, the guide, I said, what's happened here? He says, that's where Rizzio fell. I said, no wonder I nearly tripped over it myself. Fantastic. I told that one in East Coast dialect. Legendary stream so far, Scottie. Do you like it? Dave Deprave. What a top man you are. This is the best stream I've ever seen. This will go in the McClue Hall of Fame. I thank you as dad. Thank you for your generosity, Archie. Ha! There are kings and queens of Scotland in tombs under Dunfermline Abbey. There will be, Alistair, they'll be in the Royal Vault. And when the people quote, when I'm telling them that the monarchy is very important to Scotland, they go, oh, well, it's kind of had its day. And I think, no, not had its day. They'll go, well, what about the Declaration of Arbroath? People are sovereign. I say, no, the Declaration of Arbroath was a letter written by the Scottish aristocracy to His Holiness the Pope in, was it 1340? And it's asking him, begging him, can we choose our own monarch? And Queen Elizabeth II is an heir and successor of the monarch we chose. So there you go. Now you know. Up there with the greats, with Orson Welles, War of the Worlds. Yes, this is the stuff of legends. Dave Deprave, you will get nothing but the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth on here. Fantastic. Dinky-doo, everybody. Do come and join us. You're watching Scottie McClue, the world's top broadcaster, the first lord of the internet, the father of feminism, and the world's most humble man, live just for you, saying dinky-doo. The monarchy belongs to Scotland. It does, Alistair. It is a Scottish institution going back 2,347 years. Ken, absolutely true. I know Kenneth MacAlpin was the first of the moderns, but these are the ancients I'm talking about, the ancestors and forebears of R.I., the ancient Celtic king. Now you know the monarchy does belong to Scotland. Not any calls in the last 5 minutes. Your talk's too intriguing, mate. Oh, I don't know about that. Don't be listening to me. Get on and call and make your point. That's what it's about, guys. If anybody's got something to say on that, you're very welcome to phone us. There we are. Good night, Scottie. Speak tomorrow. If you're on live, we will, Kareem. Lovely to have you with us, and a big dinky-doo from Scottie McClue. Can we all say good night to Kareem in our usual accustomed fashion? Good night, Kareem. Sleep well, Kareem. There we are. It's an old adage that I've just made up. Right, to the telephones. The Queen has handled the sad passing of her husband with real class. A wonderful lady. Her Majesty the Queen is an outstanding public servant. So there we are. I was arguing with a clapped-out hippie today about it. He was trying to get me on the royal yacht. You'll see it on Facebook. So there we have it now. Night-night, Kareem, says Mega Chelsea. Mega Chelsea, absolutely. He's off to his bobos. Now, how are we doing for time? How long have we been up? We've been up for 1 hour and 20 minutes. Woo! Call in, guys. Let's go. Absolutely, Dave. Feel free to call in. Let's check the lines are working anyway. Now, there's a legendary Scotsman, says Rock Jam. Dinky-doo, that's Scottie McClue. Good evening, Scottie. Good evening to you, Rock Jam. Lovely to have you with us. How's things on YouTube and Facebook? Have you followed me? Have you subscribed? Very, very important, subscribe. Can anybody tell me how many subscribers we've got on Facebook? It should be around the 2,900 mark, but do tell us something like that. So get calling in, of course, get phoning. Scottie, what did people use to clean teeth before toothpaste? Salt, I think, would be what they used. Am I right, Robert? You should be a history teacher, Scottie. Alistair King, what a lovely thing to say. It's one of my favourite subjects, and believe it or not, I have taught quite a lot of it. So there we are. And a lot of people have done very well in their exams because Scottie McClue has taught them. Good night, Green Buddy, says Archie. Good night, excellent stuff. Fantastic. Am I right, Robert? And now then, what do we got here? Night, Scottie, I'll give you a call soon to discuss the Queen's consent. When you say the Queen's consent, do you mean the royal assent? Is that what we're talking about? ASS. No, it was charcoal, Scottie. Well, Robert Scrimmager, I think charcoal was made in Argyll in a place called Furnace. Hence the name, Furnace. There we go. Charcoal. Wow. I thought it would have been salt. Liked and shared, Scottie. We need to get you out there big time on the internet to entertain and educate. Top man. Bob Youngson. What a privilege and a pleasure to have you with us. Top man. Fantastic. Quality chat on here, you know. None of your nonsense. Can I genuinely say, you know, if I can contain my emotion, I am so mega impressed with the high caliber of people we've got on here. Intelligent, interesting people. You could come and Tudor Jr. He might actually listen, Ken. Alistair Jr. listens to you a lot more than he makes out. He'll be taking it all in and get him onto the motors and everything. That's what it's all about. Although it's very funny, not all fathers make great teachers, but a lot of them do, and I think you'll be one of them, Alistair. I can remember a friend, my favourite teacher who taught music, and I remember his daughter saying it was so difficult for her to learn music with Dad in the house shouting, no, B flat, all that sort of stuff. So there you go. I'm sure Muck and Pebbles were used to wash hands in the past for soap. Well, they were. I think it was Numpty Head. I think they used to use turf. And I can remember when we were in the Boy Scouts, we'd cooked sausages and we'd nothing to clean the pan with. And the river water wasn't making any effect on the fat because it was dripping. Beef dripping. Or lard we'd used, which I think is pork fat. Anyway, long story short, in comes one of the scouters, the leaders at the time, with a huge hunk of turf and wiped it round the pan. And it was clean in no time. It just needed a wee wipe up. Fantastic. Queen's consent differs from royal assent, Scottie. I'll discuss it with you on a call. Maybe tomorrow or next week. It's a long story for intellectuals like me and you. Well, Robert Scrimger, I can tell you, you will not be out of place on here for intellectuals because tonight has been an outstanding night in the phone-in. Absolutely outstanding. We'll give it another 7 minutes, guys, if you want to call. He likes to answer back a lot, listens to his granny more than me. He's about to become a teenager, so yes, I'm getting Mr. Attitude at the moment. Well, don't worry about it. Here's just one tiny tip. See when he goes, you go, would you like a pizza for lunch? He goes, am I no getting fish fingers? Or if you say, would you like to see The Sound of Music? Or is a video? No, I'd rather say, listen, how come you're always wanting to do something else to what you're actually doing? Yes? So there we go. You know, you can always reason with them, you know what I mean? Loving the calls coming in. We learn so much knowledge from you, Scottie. Robster, not at all. There are so many clever people on here tonight. How's about soot for cleaning your teeth? How's about for cleaning your suit? There we go. We don't know about that one. Although chimney sweeps were regarded as lucky. I don't know if we do it in Scotland, but in England, you used to quite often see a chimney sweep turn up at a wedding. In fact, some of them made a few quid out of it, turning up with the face all blacked up with a suit and the brushes and the top hat and the bike. Sweeps arrived. The sweeps come. If you go to like a Yorkshire wedding, like they go, tons come. I love it. Dinky do. Lots of messages from you guys. Very, very much appreciated. If you want to phone in before we dash off, do please. You've got 4 minutes. Tonight, can I just give you a word or two about this? We started this about 4 nights ago, not as a phone in, just to check the technical side to see if it worked or not. And tonight you could look at either our first or our second actual phone in. We didn't go live on TikTok because they didn't like the number being given out. They said data protection they cited and they wouldn't go back on it. So that's that. He gets told what I was told at that age, take what you can or you'll starve. If I answered back, I got a clout. Now then, you're live on Scottie. Who's that?
Hello, I've just got a couple words before we go off. It's your friend from the borders.
Ah.
I just want to say tonight's stream will go down in history because this marks the rise of the McClue online phone-ins. I can see this being in the Hall of Fame.
I think, Archie, although I say it myself, I think you've got that spot on. And it's not to do with me. It's to do with the caliber of the people we're getting. Like your good
I'm
self.
really pleased.
You know?
Yeah, I started watching you maybe mid-July when I was staying. I was down in Chester in England, and I really enjoyed it. And when I started to research, and I saw when you were on radio, Scott FM and the like, and I'm so glad to see this phoning up now. And we've noticed a difference in subscribers within 2 shows.
Yes. Yes, they're up. I mean, you don't know how many YouTubers we've got subscribing.
Exactly. I don't know the exact numbers.
Right. But it certainly shot up today.
Oh, exactly. There's Numpty saying, what would you do if you had your 15 minutes of fame? Your fame is, well, you're famous, but you're going to become even more famous with this. I guarantee you. I'm calling it.
Wow. You're some man. Archie, great hearing you quality chat, my boy.
Oh, thank you.
And as we say in the best of circles, right across the Scottish borders. Dinky doo.
Dinky doo to you, my good friend.
Thanks, Archie. All the best. What a nice thing to say. That man's got a lot to say, I can tell. Dave says, show us your £1 million note again, Scottie. It's amazing. I don't have it with me. It's in safekeeping in the vault. So there we go. Scottie, what would you do if you have your 15 minutes of fame? I think, Numpty, I would use that to see if I could really help something big move in the world. Do you know what I mean? Something like that. That 15 minutes is very important that I use that well and use that wisely. I once got asked, somebody said, see, because all you're mucking about in the media and stuff like that, you'll not get a knighthood and you'll not get an OBE and stuff. And I said, listen, I would only be interested in anything like that if I could use it to further other people. Do you know what I mean? Because if I was going to be something big, surely I would have been it by now. But I think the future holds something very, very big for all of us. I can see it here. And I think this is we're scratching the surface here, guys. But if it keeps expanding the way it's done over the last night or two, this is big news. Plus, I may be going back on the radio on a big station. So, and you'll be able to get it on the internet and digital, all sorts of things, you know. So I'll let you know all about that as we go. So there you go. That's what I would say, Numpty, if I could help other people. Fantastic. It's a bit like the House of Lords. Do I want to sit down in Westminster you know, tucked into the big chamber. Not unless I could help people. Right. What an awesome stream. Thank you, Dave. It has been awesome tonight because I've seen a lot of shows now. This is the big one. There we go. Now then, he would use his 15 minutes and give it back to the people. I would, Alistair. You're right. Your 15 minutes of fame was shaking my hand twice at the video signing. That was my 15 minutes of fame, Numpty Eat. Yours is still to come. Again, the future's bright. Robstar, the future is very, very bright indeed. Guys, that's an hour and a half. I'm going to say good night and God bless to every single one of you. And dinky do, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll pop up tomorrow night at 10 o'clock sharp. We'll try and keep it at 10 o'clock to see how it goes. And thank you for your contributions from amazing stuff. Who's put this? Bob says he's famous already and immortal in Radioland. Absolutely, down at the bottom of Dingley-Dell. Radioland doesn't cut the mustard for. I know his face. William, absolutely. Scottie McClue saying dinky-doo to every single one of you. Thanks for watching. Good night. God bless. And ta-ra, lads.